أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. Allah, there is no deity except Him, the ever-living, the sustainer of all existence. Neither drowniness overtakes Him nor sleeps. To Him belongs whatever is in the earth and whatever is in the heavens. Who is it that can intercede with Him except by His permission? He knows what is before them and what will be after them. And they encompass not a thing of His knowledge except for what He wills. His courtesy extends over the heavens and the earth, and His preservation tires Him not. And He is the Most High, the Most Gracious. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمثاب الحسين عليه السلام. There is something very special about this ayah, Ayat al-Kursi. It's something you should read when you wake up, and something you should read when you sleep. It protects you. Now before I begin, I would like to ask one question. By a raise of hands, answer this question. When you read this ayah once, what happens? Does anybody know? Yes, one angel will protect you. And if you read it twice, 2 angels will come down to shield you. If you read it 3 times, 3 angels will come down. If you read it 4 times, 4 angels will come. And if you read it 5 times, what will happen? No. If you read it 5 times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah azza wa jal Himself will say, move. He will tell the angels, move. And He will say, I will protect this man. I will protect this kid. I will protect him or her. And the reason I read this ayah is very interesting, because when you have fear inside you, you read this ayah. So here is something so very interesting. Babies are born with 2 fears. The fear of being dropped and the fear of loud noises. They don't have any other fear. They will crawl straight out of a balcony and down a flight of stairs. They will crawl straight out over and outside a window. They will put their hands in an animal's mouth. They will stick their fingers in an electric socket because they do not know fear. The reason I am telling you this is because so many fears we have are acquired. I'll say that again. So many fears we have are acquired. Someone will say, I have a fear of being rejected. Maybe they go to a job interview. Or I don't like when someone looks at me. They feel insecure. Here's the thing. When you were born, what's your first experience? Right? The nurses, the adults, your mother, your father, they're looking at you. The baby doesn't say, oh, don't look at me, I feel fat, I feel insecure, I feel ugly. No, it's just the opposite. Babies love the attention. So fear of being judged is an acquired fear. It's a learned fear. We learn to fear being judged. We were judged unkindly or unfavorably. However, some of you may be thinking, how do I overcome this fear? How do I beat this fear? The answer is very simple. We have to judge ourselves really well. That's how we overcome fear. So there is something, what people call external fears. What I do, maybe I do something and my parents find out. Maybe I do this haram, what will happen? Maybe I go to a job interview and people will say no, they will reject me. So these external fears, disappointment, rejection, hurt, pain, it's okay to go through these experiences. These experiences is part of growing up. You're a kid, you're a teenager, you will experience these external fears. So you need to know these experiences, they mold you, they shape you. Now there is internal fears. Fears of falling. Maybe you go to an edge of a cliff, a canyon, a mountain, you look down, you get butterflies in your stomach. You feel like you're gonna fall down. Maybe going on a plane, you might have a fear of that. So we have inner nervousness about doing things. These are fears. There is fears of dogs, cats, spiders, insects, bugs like bees. But these are learned fears. You might fear something, but someone else might love it. Maybe you're scared of heights. Someone will jump out of a helicopter with no parachute. Maybe you fear spiders. There's YouTube videos where people have spiders in their mouth, right? So we have a problem when it comes to fear. We tend to think about the worst possible outcome. We tend to think about the worst possible thing that could happen. So you start feeling as if you're in that worst possible outcome. The only way to overcome, to beat that fear, is instead of focusing on the worst possible outcome, focus on the best possible outcome. Well, it's easier said than done, right? You must be willing to overcome fear, because most people don't even try to attempt it. They're scared of spiders their whole life. You have to give yourself different beliefs. When it comes to fear, you have two choices. Explain why you feel so terrible, and talk yourself out of it. I'll give you a hypothetical example. Let's say you're driving a car, and you have to get past this cliff. And if you fall, you die, and to past this cliff is your house. And it's snowing outside, it's very foggy. What are you going to do? One, you can panic, right? You start shaking. You think of the worst possible outcome, the worst possible thing, and then you fall off the cliff. Or you can think of the best possible thing. What are you going to do? Right? You're going to calm yourself down. You're going to open the emergency lights and stuff, and you're going to not panic. And this takes us to our second point, fearlessness. When Musa alayhi salam climbed Mount Sinai and approached the burning bush, he was expecting another human being. He was expecting another fellow human being. But instead, who did he approach? Musa, he approached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the burning bush. So Musa in Surah number 27, verses 9 and 10, Allah says, Ya Musa, innahu anna Allah al-Aziz al-Hakim. O Musa, I am Allah, the all-powerful, all-knowing. And then Allah Azza wa Jal teaches Musa the most important lesson against fighting tyrants. Who doesn't know what tyrant means? Tyrant. You guys all know what tyrant means? Who doesn't know what it means? Tyrant means an evil or unjust leader. A president, a king, a leader. An unjust and unfair leader. So Allah tells him, He teaches him, O Musa, He says, cast down your staff. When Musa saw that his staff had transformed into a snake, he turned and ran. So when Musa threw his stick, it turned into a snake, he turned away and ran. What did Allah say to him? He says, O Musa, my messengers are never afraid in my presence. For us to face against any tyrant, to put an end to injustice, requires fearlessness and courage. So Allah tells Musa, for us to face against a tyrant, an evil ruler, we must be fearless, and we must have courage. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, when he was asked, someone asked him, can you explain the meaning of courage? Being tough. Or can you explain the meaning of courage? He says, Kalimatun haqq anda sultanin jar. He says, courage is to speak the truth in the presence of a tyrant. So what's courage? When you speak the truth in front of an evil leader. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the 63 years of his life, he faced against the superpowers of his time, and he was always on the front lines. He was the symbol of courage. He was fearlessness in its own. Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, the first Imam, the Lion of Allah, describes the Holy Prophet in the following way. He says, when fighting used to become intense and the two sides would clash, we would always seek refuge with the Holy Prophet. And indeed, no one was closer than the enemy of Rasulullah. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Ali alayhi salam was the same because he grew up in the lap of Rasulullah. Ali himself says, He says, I swear by Allah that if all the Arab gathered to fight against me, I would not turn away and I would not run away. If all the Arab, imagine, let's say right now, how many? 1.7, there's only 1.7 Muslims. Imagine all the Arab. He said, if all of them gathered to fight against me, one person, I would not turn, I won't give them my back, I won't run away. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded all human beings to stand against injustice and tyranny in whatever form it may take. And Allah says in Surah 13 verse 11, He says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغَيِّرُ مَا بَقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يَغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah will not change the condition of the people until they change the condition of themselves. Allah won't change you if you don't want to change yourself. And that is why, my dear brothers, it is important that we change the condition of our soul from the state of whatever it may be, big or small, of fear to fearlessness. Just like the fearlessness of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and his people. And I will talk about that in the future, inshaAllah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to fill our hearts with the courage of Rasulullah and Ahl al-Bayt. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.